What's up, guys? It's Uncle Freedom coming to you on another glorious and well-deserved day off, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I'm filming this on Father's Day. My tiny munchkins are running around upstairs doing God knows what. But today we're going to talk about some theory behind plate carriers, setting them up, what you should be looking for, opinions that I have on the subject, things that I've run and have found worked for me. So if that sounds like fun and it's interesting to you, maybe you're in the market for a new plate carrier, go ahead and like, subscribe, tell a friend, because we are growing, and for that I thank you. Again, if I don't get back to you right away in the comments, sorry. I get a ton of comments now, but you can head over to the Instagram page at UncleFreedom213. That is at UncleFreedom213. Send me a private message there, and I'll do my best to get back to you as fast as I can. Though I do work day shifts, it is summertime, so between family time, doing day shift, and teaching at the academy, I am really stretched thin right now. So when we talk about plate carriers, the first thing we got to ask yourself is, who needs armor? Everybody. That's a real short answer to that question. When the federal government suddenly decides to tell you that you don't need this and we should ban it, you should probably look into ownership of that item, because there's probably a reason you're going to need it. So I'm not saying anything's going to happen today or tomorrow, but I will say that time after time in history, anytime the government's told us that we don't need something, that's usually the time that you need it the most. Even people that are anti-gun and just hate guns because they're uneducated or misinformed because the evil person on the magic box on the wall told them that armor was bad and guns were evil, you should want armor, because it literally by design defeats bullets from hitting you. It's like that's checkmate in the game. Like, why wouldn't you want everybody to have that? So once we get away from that, we know we need armor, right? Well, now we have to talk about selecting out your carrier, and more important, how to size your carrier. So there is this huge misconception, and I see this all the time. I get asked this all the time when it comes to plate carriers, of what size carrier do I need? Well, the answer to that's pretty simple. What size plates do you wear? If you do not know the answer to that question, that's where you need to start. Plates are supposed to go nipple to nipple, jugular notch, down to the base of your rib cage, covering your vital organs, the stuff that you die if it gets hit right away. You can take a round in the gut, live through that for long enough to finish the fight, protect your family, whatever it is, and if you get medical treatment, you'll probably live through it. You may lose some intestines, but you'll live through it most of the time. You take a round in the heart, it's over. So size your plates based off of your body and then select a plate carrier. For example, I am 6 foot tall, 240 pounds, and I work out all the time. I go to the gym. I stay in shape. I do these things because your physical fitness is very important to your survivability if something goes wrong. That's also very important if you're planning on wearing armor for any duration of time. It looks really cool on Instagram, but as a guy who wears soft armor literally every day and plate carriers almost as much, I will tell you that it is the most uncomfortable thing you will ever put on your body, and most people that live in armor can't wait to take it off. So you need to be in shape. Running around with 20 extra pounds of stuff strapped to your torso is a real quick way to expose the fact that you are nowhere near as in shape as you thought you were. So me, 6 foot, 240, right? I clearly wear an extra large plate. I wear an extra large t-shirt. That's what this is. I don't. I wear a size medium plate, a 10 by 12 plate. That's it. I don't need any more than that. 10 by 12 covers my vitals. It doesn't matter if you're a 400-pound guy. Your vitals are the same size, man. So fit your plate to your body and then select your plate carrier accordingly. The next thing you're going to have to make a decision on when selecting a plate carrier is, what do you want it to do? Do you want a slick carrier because you want to be able to wear it under something and not be noticeable? Combine that with a chest rig of some kind, like the Mayflower rig or a Haley rig or something, and be able to scale it up and down, run the plate carrier independent of the chest rig independent of the plate carrier. Are you looking for something that is minimalist, meaning we're talking 3 mags in the front, it's not really structured or designed to carry weight, like lots of extra weight? Or are we looking for something that you're a saw gunner and you need to carry 800 rounds of ammo on your stuff, so you've got to have this structured out harness system on the inside that's going to stabilize and support the weight of your carrier? I will tell you, I've met very few people in my life that were not actively in the military running a saw or a 240 that needed a structured weight-bearing plate carrier. Most people get by just fine with a minimalist option, something that's going to carry 3 to 5 magazines, a couple of pistol things, and maybe a med kit, and that's it. Don't go overboard. You need stuff that carries what you project you will need in that environment. You don't need a massive harness system with all of this extra fabric. I see a lot of people that get hung up around the fact that you can get a 511 plate carrier. It's huge. It covers your whole torso. And then they're mad because their plates are only like 10 by 12. That's just fabric, man. And unless you've got soft armor on the inside, like an IOTV or something that I wore, the Interceptor body armor when I was in the military, that stuff has level 3A soft armor in it to stop frag and handgun rounds, even around the side. The vest I wear at work wraps all the way around because it is also level 3A armor. But when you're talking about hard armor plates, we're talking about covering your vitals and protection from a rifle round. So now that you've decided on what size plate you wear, so now you know what size carrier, because your carrier is sized to your plate. So I'm a size medium carrier. You've decided that, okay, I'm going to do just fine with like a minimalist carrier, which is very minimal MOLLE or laser cut MOLLE. The next thing you have to come to terms with is that quality actually matters. I hate to beat up on Condor, but I've seen my share of Condor plate carriers, the threading and the stitching fail because when you put a 6 to 8 pound object inside of there strapped to your body and you start running around, it destroys things. Buy quality. You can buy Shellback. I've run multiple Shellback rigs. They have been ultimately reliable. They've been very comfortable to run. I've run Faro. I've run Cry. You can buy what you need. You can get into the game for somewhere between $140 and $220 for a decent carrier itself. So now that we've looked at that, we've figured out quality, we kind of know where we're going with that. The next thing you're going to have to do is decide on your loadout. And this is where I see people get in trouble. You will see a guy with a plate carrier with 12 magazines hanging off the front, a big-ass IFAK, 2 knives, pistol pouches, an admin pouch, an ATAX thing, even though they don't have an ATAX system, full massive back panel, all this crap, shit everywhere, 5 radios, whatever, because they're prepared for everything. Here's a fun fact, man. The heavier your shit is, the less mobility you have, which makes you an easier target to hit. Period. For me, law enforcement, house hits, any of that stuff, I'm talking 3 mags on the front of the carrier, 1 mag in the gun, 1 mag on the belt, and possibly 2 additional mags. Anything extra I carry will be in a backpack. Outside of that, I like having some form of medical, maybe the capability to hold 1 to 2 pistol mags, a knife occasionally, but I don't go much past that. I select my stuff around the fact that if I can have 6 to 7 mags on my person, I'm not getting into a gunfight that takes 210 rounds without the ability to resupply. I am also not expecting, even in an end-of-day scenario, to get into a gunfight that takes 6 to 10 magazines, or 7 to 10 magazines, and I haven't figured out how to get away. So figure out your loadout. Are you going to carry smoke? I don't mean in your fantasy. Do you actually need smoke? You need medical, you need ammo, you need the ability to stop holes. So that's what plate carriers do. Stop holes, make holes in your magazines, and then plug holes with your med kit. So keep that in mind. You don't need a ton of stuff, and the more shit you hang off your body, the farther away from the ground you are, the less mobility you have, which makes you an easier target, easier to kill. So err on the side of caution, guys. So now you've decided on your loadout. Now you have to decide how you're going to carry that loadout. Are you going to run the chest rig over the slick armor? Are you wanting to do a placard, which is like a micro chest rig that just clips in and it covers up the front of your cummerbund? Or are you looking at mollying on pouches to carry your magazine? I've done all different kinds. I like placards. They have a good purpose, especially if I'm switching out different carrier setups. So if I'm going to run 5.56 one day and the next day I'm going to run a 308 gun, I can switch placards off and have a 308 dedicated setup. So I can do that. So after that, you're going to talk about you need an IFAK. I had mentioned IFAK as a mandatory piece of equipment. That is because you need an IFAK. If you are curious about what goes into making a good IFAK and some of the story behind it, go back on my channel, look at the medical gear playlist. I cover the March algorithm as well as some options in there, some different med kits and stuff like that. Medical is extremely important. You are far more likely to need your med kit than you ever are a magazine off your vest. So, med kits. Now, when we do IFAKs, we have to decide something else. Do you want to carry your med kit in a dangler pouch? in the front of your plate carrier, a nut ruck? Do you want to carry it in the sides of it? Do you want to tear off? Do you want something that is hard mollied on that you pull an insert out of? You have to decide how you want it done. But above all, anything you pick has to be vetted good, and you need to know how to use it. Don't buy a sealed med kit that you've never seen half the contents of and just assume you're good. Buy 2 if that's your case, and practice with 1. Now, let's take a look at how I kind of set my stuff up. So, first one we'll look at is this is a heavier weight carrier. This is a shellback carrier. This has a mollied on panel on the front, 3 mags, 3 pistol mags on the front, though this does not actually carry 3 pistol mags. This will carry usually a multi-tool, a pistol mag, and a flashlight. And then I have my 3 rifle mags on the front. This is a much more structured plate carrier, so this actually does have hard armor for the sides that aren't in there, but I have my Ka-Bar BK18 because I like it. And then I have a tear-off medical pouch here, meaning I pull this and I can just rip this off of my plate carrier, lay it out in front of me, and I have access to all my medical goodies. Now, if we look at the back of this guy, it's slick. I don't have anything on the back. Now, this carrier is kind of bulky, I'll be honest. Like, you look at these shoulder pads, they're big and thick. But one place this thing is awesome, it has these pontoons of pad on the side, so I get some airflow in between. This guy has level 4. These are the X-SAPI plates from the military. But you'll notice a trend as we go through this. So we look at another rig that I run. So this is a Crye JPC. This is an internal. So my magazines are actually built into this, and the flap itself, I don't have anything molly to it. So this is a much more minimalist carrier, but with some scalability. So if we look at this, I've got the skeletal cummerbund here, which still allows me to mount things. And you notice here I have 2 additional Blue Force Gear pouches mounted on my right side. Now the reason I have this here is because it will hold SOAR med mags. So that gives me a full med kit, my ammo right here. And the exception to this is I have an Eagle Industries map pack on here. This is mollied in. But this is more from the ounce of I can have my helmet in here, I can have my night vision in here, I can have spare ammo in here, food, water, whatever I need. If this is going to be a longer thing, we're hunting a dirt bag in the woods, might be there for 36 hours trying to find this guy. This is an option. You will notice in here that there is not a lot of padding in here. These have level 4 plates in them. That's it. This stops rounds. That's what it's made to do. Which this will bring up something that people will talk about. So I have a mollied on map pack on the back from Eagle Industries. You see all the time these zip off back panels. Here's the thing. Zip off back panels are not compatible with each other's company. So if you have a really cool zip on back panel from Faro, it doesn't fit on Crye's back panel, which is stupid. Also, unless you have a dedicated team that can get shit out of your bag, it's pretty much useless because you can't get to it. Why do you need that modularity? Are you a designated breacher who may suddenly find himself in demo and then need an assaulter's rig with smoke? If the answer is no, you don't need that. It's a waste of money that you're just basically throwing money at shit to buy something cool. And most of the people I've seen with the modular system on the back have one setup that they like, and that's how it stays. And most of the time, it's empty. Much like this pack is empty because it gets shit put in it if I need it, but not before. And then we'll look at a rig I use a lot. So this is a Faro Concepts Slickster. This system here is actually very slick. This is a placard that they make. This is called the Kangaroo Pouch. So I have the inserts in here for 3 AR mags, and I have 1 HSGI Taco. I have Molly on the front, so I could add more stuff if I needed to. But I can actually take this whole thing off and run this as just a slick carrier with the G-hooks at the top. Super simple. So I've got internal mounted, external mounted. I like the cummerbund that comes with these, so I have 4 cells that would hold 4 more AR mags. I use them to hold SOAR Rescue. But you've noticed in a trend, I have 3 mags on this again. I don't have a bunch more. Something else you see people get into trouble with when they set these up is they will mount a bunch of shit on their dominant side over here, and what that ends up doing is when they go to draw their handgun, it impedes their draw stroke. Never put anything on this side of your gun side of your body that you can't immediately access your handgun, because that is a seconds count situation. Because most of the time, I'm not saying you're going to draw your handgun and start fighting with that when you have a plate carrying a rifle, but we specifically teach transition drills to go from your rifle to your handgun when reloading is either going to be ineffective, you have a down weapon system, you don't have time to reload, you don't have cover, you just need the gun back in the fight. Don't put things on your gun side, guys. It's a very efficient way to get dead with cool gear. Now, when we start looking at these plate carriers, there are tons of aftermarket items. You can get better cummerbunds. You can get like the Faro cummerbunds. I have those on a couple of different plate carriers. The new Warfighter cummerbund from Agalite is really cool looking. You can get aftermarket cummerbunds that do different things. Maybe they have soft armor, maybe they have none, maybe they're elastic so it breathes better. You can do shoulder pads. You can add any placard system you want to most things. There are aftermarket options to tailor out your plate carrier to make it fit you better. So don't be afraid of doing that. Just make sure whatever you're doing is compatible. Now, then we have to talk about picking your plates. So you essentially have a few options: steel, ceramic, composite material, and poly. I know, steel stops bullets. I too bought steel armor at one point. It is now a Target. Steel armor will absolutely stop a bullet. It's going to ring your shit because it's going to hurt when it hits you. That's another fun fact about plates. Just because it stopped the bullets doesn't mean it didn't break your ribs. It's going to hurt. Accept that. You're not going to walk away unscathed. You're going to end up with these massive black bruises, probably broken rims, busted sternum cartilage. It's going to happen. Accept it, move on. Here's the problem with steel. Steel, yes, I hear this too. I could get shot 15 times, that steel plate's still good. If you just got shot 15 times in the chest, you're a fucking idiot. You should have figured out how to get away. But you probably couldn't get away because you had so much shit strapped on your armor that you couldn't leave. Yes, I know they put build-up coatings and stuff like that. I have seen those coatings fail. Actually, fun fact, I had some Spartan armor AR-550 steel plates. Those plates are 4 years old. The outer cover carrier, the outer lining that contains these shrapnel off of around the impacts actually delaminated on its own. Not from being hit, not from being in excessive heat or humidity. It was stored in a climate-controlled area. It delaminated all by itself. So that is something to keep in mind. That is not very comforting if you think about it. Steel is also incredibly heavy. And for the price they're charging for this steel right now, you can get decent ceramic plates that weigh less. Don't buy steel, go buy ceramic. Okay? I'm going to tell you one of the biggest factors in these things, even if you don't care what anybody has to say, steel stops bullets, right? Okay. Your average AR-500 level 3 steel plate with the build-up coating is about 8 pounds and 10 ounces per plate. We are talking about 17 pounds, 4 ounces of just weight in your armor. Standard AR mag's about a pound or so, maybe a little more, maybe a little more, usually right at a pound at the minimum per mag. Your med kit's going to be over a pound. You've also got this strap to your chest, which is going to impede your ability to breathe. The carrier itself has weight. If you have a backpack, there's a new problem. You have a rifle slung over you that's at least 6.5 to 8 pounds. You have a ton of weight strapped to your body. Steel doesn't move. It is incredibly uncomfortable, and it is extremely heavy. If we move up to the next step, which is what most people run, and that is a ceramic-styled plate, you can get an NIJ certified level 4 ceramic plate somewhere in the 5.6 to 7 pound rating. I know somebody's going to be like, well, there's not much difference between that and steel. Yes, but my level 4 ceramic plate will stop AP ammo. Your steel will not. Get ceramic. You can get a level 3 ceramic plate, 5 pounds all day long. Like, you're talking 10 pounds of weight. You can get those a lot easier in a multi-curve, so it's going to mold more to your body. They're standalone. You've got a ceramic strike face that breaks the bullet up. Then you have the Kevlar composite backing that's going to catch those fragments so that they don't kill you. You are going to suffer back face deformation. It's going to hurt. You're going to break ribs. All that stays the same. Somebody's going to be like, well, it's not multi-hit rated. Again, if you are sitting still letting somebody shoot you 7 times in a single fight, you are an idiot and should probably learn to move. And last but not least, you have poly plates. Poly plates are freaking awesome. I have like 2 sets of poly plates. I don't actually run them most of the time, but I do have them. I've got a set of them that I use for work that go into my actual outer carrier because they are so light. We're talking 3 pounds for level 3 protection. Stops 308 rounds. I mean, I'll take it. It's rifle protection backed up by level 3A soft armor in that system. You're talking about 6 pounds worth of plates that now stops a rifle. The one downfall to them is they can be thicker, which can cause some issues with the fitment of your carrier depending on the carrier you have. Now, once we look at those, they also float, which is kind of cool. So, there you go, guys. That's a big difference between your plates. Does steel stop bullets? Yes, it's going to hurt. They're not going to take infinite amount of rounds. You will get fragged in the throat and into the thighs and into your arms because that is a part of it. I've heard the argument, well, what's going to happen if a bullet hits your magazine? Won't that frag? No. Here's the thing. If you've ever shot a steel target, when a bullet hits a steel target, it flattens out, frags out in all directions, right? If it hits a magazine, yes, it will still have a problem, but that bullet's going to go through the mag and it's going to impact my plate. The plate's going to capture the round. Is there some frag coming from that? Yeah, possibly, but it's not high velocity frag from a bullet splatting against your chest either. So I don't like steel. Guys, steel makes a great target, but just it's not for the money it costs to get good ceramic plates. Just buy good ceramic plates. Now, here's an uncomfortable fact that people don't want to hear about plates. I touched on this earlier. I'm going to touch on it again because it's important. The more shit you're wearing on your chest, the more important your fitness becomes. And even the fittest people on the planet, guys I ran with in the military, super fit guys with a full plate carrier setup on, can't wait to take it off because it's uncomfortable. It hampers your breathing. It's going to wear on your shoulders all day. And you're not going to be as fast. Speed is life in any kind of an engagement. You have to be able to effectively maneuver, to flank, to fight back, to retreat, to escape from that situation. The heavier you are, the less likely you are to live through it. Just because there's molly does not mean you have to molly something to it. Be purposeful when you set stuff up on there. Do you need a assault pack on the back of your thing, or would you be better served by an assault pack you can ditch? For me, I need it on that rig. Do you need 9 magazines on the front of your chest? Be realistic. Probably not. Do you need the Crocodile Dundee knife and 5 pistol mags and 6 rifle mags and an IFAK and a GP pouch and a dump pouch and all this other shit? The reality is probably not. Look at your get and actually ask yourself, when's the last time I used that? Is it effective at what I needed it to do? Or could I just go without it? Most of the time you'll find you could just go without it and ditch that shit and move on. And last but not least, and I mentioned this in the prepping video, which is armor is great, but it also means you have to fight somebody competent enough to only shoot you in the armor and not in the face. Again, for the slow ones in the back, or my Marines that are eating crayons, stop, put your crayon down, listen real quick. That's good? Okay, awesome. Armor only works if people shoot the armor, not your face. That is an uncomfortable fact. People don't want to admit, I have armor, I'm good. No, you're not. What if that dude shoots you in the face? Here's another one, man. If you are going out and you're a good Samaritan, a concerned citizen, a protector of life, as you should be as a red-blooded, gun-owning, gun-toting, yeehaw-ing American, by God, you are very easy to kill. Like, human beings are not incredibly durable when you hit them with bullets. And you can have the fanciest stuff on the planet. But if you get domed by Bubba down the street, he only has to get it right one time. You have to get it right every time to not die. He only has to do it once with his High Point and his tap code out SKS. He's only got to do it once. You got to do it over and over again. Learn to maneuver, go light, learn how to function, be mobile in your kit, work on your fitness so you don't die of a fucking heat stroke because you're wearing plates for the first time. Those of you who bought plate carriers, set them up and put them in the corner and thought when the day comes, I'm good to go. If you've never done anything in that, you're going to die. You are nowhere near as fit as you think. And even if you are in incredibly good shape in a runner, that's going to do things to you you haven't anticipated. So put on your shit and go train. Figure out the limitations. Do things jingle. Is this pouch in the wrong spot because now I can't get to something I need? Is it uncomfortable? Are things rubbing you that shouldn't be rubbing you? Go out, run your shit, make sure it works, adjust your stuff accordingly, move on, and be that good red-blooded American protector that I know you can be. From like all my good little nieces and nephews out there, be that. But more than anything, you got to learn how this stuff works. You got to try new things, and you have to figure out if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to ditch it just because it cost you money. I have put a lot of stuff by the wayside that I spent money on that just didn't fill the need I thought it would fill, or it made something worse. Just because you spent money on it does not make it good. So guys, I'm Uncle Freedom. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and I'll see you guys later.